1996. A young woman picks up the phone. Her hands are shaking. She dials the FBI. She tells them she's being trafficked by a billionaire. The agent on the other end doesn't ask her name, doesn't open a file, doesn't take notes. They hang up. That phone call was the first domino, not the last. The first. What came next wasn't a conspiracy. It was something worse. It was a system that worked exactly as designed. This is the autopsy of 7 institutional failures that let Jeffrey Epstein operate for 23 years. Level 1. The FBI 12-year blackout, 1996 to 2008. The FBI is the most powerful law enforcement agency on the planet. 35,000 employees, a $10 billion budget, and for 12 years, they were a black hole. 1996. Maria Farmer calls, reports abuse, minor victims, a billionaire with a private island. The FBI logs the call, then buries it. 2002. Epstein boards a plane to Africa. Secret Service clears him. A former US president is on board. So are minors. Nobody asks questions. 2005. The Palm Beach Police Department builds a case, witnesses, evidence, testimony, a mountain of it. They hand it to the FBI. The FBI says thank you and does nothing. It takes until 2006, 11 years after that first phone call, for the FBI to open Operation Leap Year. By then, they have 40 confirmed minor victims. They have video evidence. They have everything they need, and they do nothing. Why? Because the system had already made a choice. The choice was silence. But here's where it gets worse. Level 2. The plea deal nobody saw, 2008. Jeffrey Epstein is facing a federal indictment, dozens of counts, life in prison. The case is airtight. Instead, he gets 13 months in a county jail. Not a federal prison, a county jail. But wait, it gets better. The deal was negotiated by U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta. It's called a non-prosecution agreement, and it's so secret, even the victims aren't told. Here's what Epstein got. The sentence, 13 months in jail. The loophole, he's allowed to leave 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, for work release. He goes to his office. He meets with associates. He operates as if nothing happened. The immunity clause. The deal doesn't just protect Epstein. It gives permanent immunity to any potential co-conspirators. Translation. Everyone who helped him walks free. Forever. The victims. They find out from the news. Some of them are still in high school when they learn the man who abused them will serve less time than someone caught with drugs. Years later, Acosta is asked why. He says he was told Epstein belonged to intelligence. He was told to leave it alone. So he did. The message was clear. Some people are untouchable, and the system will protect them. But the FBI wasn't the only institution that looked the other way. Level 3. The media blackout, 1996 to 2018. You'd think a billionaire sex trafficker would be front-page news. You'd be wrong. For 20 years, the media stayed silent. Not because they didn't know, because they were stopped. Call it the 3 T's. Threats, titled friends, total access. 2000. The New York Post gets tips. Credible ones. Sources ready to talk. No story runs. Editors kill it. 2003. Vanity Fair publishes a profile on Epstein. The writer Vicky Ward later reveals she was forced to scrub key details before publication. Details about abuse. Details about victims. The magazine's editor made the call. 2011. Virginia Giuffre goes public. She names names, locations, dates. She gives interviews. The major networks ignore her. She's dismissed as unreliable, as attention-seeking, as damaged goods. It wasn't until 2018, 7 years later, that a single local reporter finally broke the story the national giants refused to touch. Her name was Julie K. Brown. She worked for the Miami Herald, not the New York Times, not the Washington Post, not CNN, a regional paper in Florida. She did what the FBI wouldn't, what the networks couldn't. She listened. She believed the victims. She tracked them down. She verified their stories. She built the case the system refused to build. And the whole thing unraveled. Brown's reporting forced the FBI's hand, forced the Justice Department to act, forced the world to pay attention. One reporter, one newspaper. 23 years too late. Level 4. The arrest that came too late. July 2019. July 6th, 2019. Epstein is arrested. Again. This time at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. This time, there's no plea deal waiting. He's taken to the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. He's placed in the Special Housing Unit, the most secure wing in the building. He's the most high-profile inmate in the world. And the system has one job: keep him alive. July 23rd. Epstein is found unconscious in his cell. Marks on his neck. A possible attempt on his own life. Prison officials place him on watch. The protocol is clear. Constant monitoring. A cellmate at all times. No exceptions. August 9th. His cellmate is transferred. No one replaces him. Epstein is left alone. August 8th. 2 days before his death, Epstein signs a new will. He moves $577 million into a trust. Prison officials don't notice. Nobody flags it. Nobody questions why a man on watch is making financial arrangements. He's left alone, with excess bedding, with a clear plan. And then the lights go out. Level 5. The night nobody was watching. August 10th, 2019. August 10th, 2019. Between 10:40 p.m. and 6:30 a.m., the Metropolitan Correctional Center becomes a ghost town. The guards, Michael Thomas and Tova Noel, are assigned to Epstein's unit. They're supposed to check on him every 30 minutes. Standard protocol, non-negotiable. They don't. Instead, they fall asleep at their desks. They browse the internet. They shop online. For furniture. For motorcycles. For 8 hours, they don't move. But every 30 minutes they sign the log. They write that they checked on Epstein. They write that he's fine. They didn't. He wasn't. They falsified federal documents. And the cameras. In a facility housing the most wanted man in the world, the cameras in Epstein's unit had stopped recording weeks earlier. Technical malfunction. Nobody fixed them. Nobody cared. At 6:30 a.m., Epstein is found. Unresponsive. A bedsheet around his neck. He's pronounced dead at 7:36 a.m. The official ruling, death by his own hand. But here's the thing about official rulings. They only matter if someone's held accountable. Level 6. The reckoning that never came. 2020 to 2026. 2020. Ghislaine Maxwell is arrested. She's convicted in 2021. She gets 20 years. She's the only person ever convicted in the Epstein case. 2021. The two guards, Thomas and Noel, are charged with falsifying records. They face 5 years in federal prison. They get a plea deal, 6 months of community service, no prison time, no permanent record. 2026. Congress passes the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Millions of pages are released. Names, locations, financial records, flight logs, phone records, bank transfers. But the accountability is lopsided. Convicted, Ghislaine Maxwell. Punished, 2 guards who fell asleep, untouched. The FBI agents who hung up in 1996. The agents who buried the evidence. The prosecutors who signed the 2008 deal. The banks that processed the wire transfers. The media outlets that killed the stories. The lawyers who threatened those who came forward. The politicians who flew on his plane. 12 people are currently suing the FBI. Not for what they did, for what they didn't do, for 23 years. The case is still pending. We look for masterminds because it's easier. It's easier to believe in a villain than a vacuum. It's easier to imagine a shadowy cabal than a system that simply didn't care. But the Epstein case proves something darker. You don't need a secret society to hide a crime. You don't need a grand conspiracy. You don't need blackmail or intimidation. You just need an FBI that won't listen, a justice system that can be bought, a media that won't investigate, and a prison that won't stay awake. The system didn't fail. The system worked exactly as those in power designed it to.